Hello YouTube, I'm back with another video on the Vivo X200 Ultra and its photography kit. Today we're going to be going out with the Zeiss Teleconverter and trying to get some low light street photography shots to see how it performs. I am again going to be just focusing on this telephoto adapter and the photography kit for this video, but don't worry, there's plenty more content coming and I will be covering all aspects of the phone. At the moment, I'm waiting for it to get dark, but there are a few things about this kit that I wish I mentioned in my last video. So first we're going to look at those, then we'll head out and take some photos and videos. The first thing is a quick one. There is a USB-C port on the base of the camera grip. Obviously you use that to charge the power bank that's inside the camera grip. But what I wanted to know is whether or not I could use an accessory, like this is my DJI Wireless Mic 2 receiver, and plug it into the hand grip, and unfortunately you can't. There's no data pass through, it's just for power, no matter whether or not you turn on the charging functionality, it just doesn't connect to the phone. Bit of a shame, probably not a deal breaker for most people, but something to know nonetheless. Then I also just wanted to show a few things about the Zeiss Teleconverter. I didn't really cover all the different options that are available in the app on my last video, and I think that'd be worth doing, because you can't do everything with the telephoto adapter attached that you can do in the normal camera mode. Obviously, you need to be in telephoto extender mode to get the best results, because it'll flip the image and it'll add the stabilization that it needs. So let's have a look at the options you get here. In photo mode, you can change the aspect ratio of your shots, which is pretty normal. And we've got self-timer options, grid lines, level, shake reminder, all that kind of thing. One that might be more important is this one. If you turn on effect adjustment, you get a new button up here, and then you can adjust the sharpness, the contrast, the saturation, and the brightness. I think sharpness could be a key one. I think if we really turn that down, it might reduce some of the AI image processing. We won't know until later on when I get out and try it, but those options are there, which is very nice. There's also this smart focus option, which allows you to double tap on your subject and have the focus track them. However, it only works at 200mm and 400mm, which I think is an issue I was running into yesterday with the focus. I was trying to double tap on subjects and that option just isn't available at the higher zooms. But you do get it at 200mm and 400mm at least. Then you've got HDR on and off, which is pretty self-explanatory. But what you should know is we're missing a lot of things from the normal photo mode. So for instance, we can't quick toggle snapshot mode on and off like we can in the normal photo app. You can't choose your different color styles, it doesn't seem. There's no live photo option, no manual focus, and of course, no high res mode. So you can't switch to 200 megapixel. You're stuck with the 12 megapixel output that the telephoto extender gives you. Of course, you can still switch to high res mode, but you won't get the image processing and everything will be upside down. So framing your shot's going to be quite hard. And I think whatever correction the app is applying to this lens, it won't be there. There's similar limitations in video. I showed in my last video that you can only shoot it up to 4K 60. There's no 4K 120 option, but also there's no log recording. And I'm not seeing the same option for wireless mics like you get in the normal video mode. So you might not be able to use external audio with this. Of course, this is an early unit and we will see software updates and I'm sure a lot of this will change. But I just wanted to show you the limitations as it stands because I think it's quite important. One other thing I wanted to test was the minimum focus distance, which I've just tried on my desk here. And it's not exactly close. It's like the full length of my desk. So I'm going to measure the distance now, if you'd bear with me. It's about 84 centimeters, the minimum focus distance. So you can do close-ups, but not that close. Okay, it finally got dark. I'm filming this on the selfie camera at 4K 30 frames per second. I'm not on the selfie stick this time, I'm hand holding it. And hopefully the stabilization will do a little bit better. I wasn't very impressed with the stuff we got in the daylight, but to be fair, I was on very uneven ground, stepping over rocks and things like that, and the selfie stick was lopsided. So will this be any better? We will have to see. Gotta say, from the preview, it's not looking like the best selfie camera for low light, but that's what we're working with. Alright, I'm filming this on the ultra wide at 4K 30. It's very dark here, so it'll be interesting to see how it looks. Turns out it's very hard to shoot street stuff with a 200mm lens. I still think I found some useful information there, but I think where this is really going to shine is with gigs and concerts and things like that. So there's a couple bands playing at local venues, and let's see if we can get anything better there. Alright, so let's take a look at some photos now, starting with some street snaps. And honestly, I wasn't too happy with these shots just from like a creative standpoint, because 200mm is just very zoomed in for street photography. But regardless, I think I gleaned some valuable information, so I think it was worthwhile in the end. This photo is taken without the teleconverter. So we're just using the standard 85mm lens and we're digitally cropping it to 200mm. And it's not looking too great, to be honest. It's pretty soft, blotchy, you can see it's doing some denoising. Yeah, there's just not a lot of detail to this image. It looks fine for this level of zoom in these lighting conditions, but it's not too impressive. And when we switch to the teleconverter, you can immediately see more detail. You can see these streaks on this part of the roof. The bolts that are holding the roof together have suddenly appeared. There's better texture of like the dirt and dust on the glass panels. It's just miles better. There is a difference in color, and we don't have a lot of control over that. The image without the teleconverter is in Zeiss natural color, but with the teleconverter, because you can't choose your own picture profile, we've just got whatever Vivo have set it to. So I assume it's vivid, but I don't know. Either way, the shot looks a lot better, so no complaints from me. Now this is another good example of the difference in detail. So we're at 800mm, digital crop from the telephoto sensor. This is without the teleconverter, and you can see this text is just an absolute mess. Half of it's illegible, and the rest of it just doesn't look very good. But when you switch to the teleconverter,
It's not perfect. You can see some AI weirdness going on. What a difference. Absolutely massive difference. So I think we can immediately answer the question, is the teleconverter worth using at night? Absolutely. As long as your subject is far enough away, you'll get much more detail, as well as some added depth to your shots. The compression blurs the background a little more. You're not seeing that too much here. The difference in detail is immediately apparent. Now I'll just show you another couple random shots. I quite like this one, these two girls sitting on a bench. I don't think it's their can of perla, but you never know. But yeah, this is a dark location and it's really managed to brighten up the whole image. It's a lovely exposure. Nice soft background from the compression of the lens. Nice and sharp in the foreground. Just really impressive, really. And this is another shot down a lovely old cobbled alleyway, and we're seeing the same thing. It was a very dark location. The exposure looks lovely. The foreground is nice and sharp. It's not perfect, but given the lighting conditions, more than good enough. And you've got that compression that just kind of, it makes it look like it's a full frame shot rather than even a 1-inch sensor. You know, you don't get this depth of field normally on a smartphone. And it's just really cool that you can do that. So moving on to some photos from the gig. This is just for context. This is on the ultra wide. It was a tiny room and the lighting was awful. So this was a trial by fire because you wouldn't normally shoot 200mm in this room. It's very close up. I think the results are quite good. So we'll start with a shot taken without the teleconverter. And by all accounts, I think it's a pretty good shot. It's decently sharp considering the focal length. It's a pretty big digital crop. It's not perfect, but you can see a little bit of skin texture and the details are all there. But when you compare it to a shot taken with the teleconverter, I think the difference is plain to see. It's a lot more detailed, a lot cleaner of an image, and the compression creates more subject separation, so it doesn't quite look so flat. There's more like depth to the image. You can tell that, you know, our guy's this far away from the background. I'm impressed. Considering the lighting conditions, I think these are pretty good looking shots. Of course, the hit rate isn't 100%, and I did get a lot of blurry shots that look like this, but that's true even without the teleconverter. And then, yeah, a split second later, you get something like this, which is pretty damn sharp. So I think that's mainly down to the lighting conditions. There will be a bit of trial and error, but I think it's worthwhile. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with these shots. Kind of mental that you can shoot something like that with a phone. And even some of the shots without the adapter look pretty fantastic. But I think you'll probably agree, they look better with the adapter. Like, this is a great shot. Probably one of my favorite poses from the set I took. It just looks really flat and just not as detailed compared to the shots taken with the teleconverter. I think there's something about these shots that just, they look a lot less smartphone-like. So one more bonus thing, and obviously this is not at night, this is in the day, but I just wanted to show you the difference between having the sharpness set to default and what happens when you turn the sharpness down. So I've got this shot of my girlfriend's horse. It's at 400mm, just like a lot of the shots we took of deer the other day. And yet it looks pretty sharp, but you can see that some of the hair looks a little unnatural, where the algorithms tried to bring the sharpness up a bit. And this is what it looks like with the sharpness set to -100. And you can see the fur looks much more natural. And actually, it looks pretty much as sharp. So I would probably recommend turning down the sharpness slider. It actually wasn't for most of this video, and I think at 200mm it looks fine with the added sharpness to me. But especially if you're going to edit your photos, turning down that sharpness slider will make the photos look more like photos from a mirrorless camera, not quite so punchy as they are by default. Okay, I'm filming this outro on the ultrawide again at 4K 30. The reason I keep using the ultrawide is because that 35mm main is just too tight to get a vloggy style shot like this. But they use the same sensor, so you shouldn't really see any loss in quality from me using this one. So after using this telephoto extender in the day and at night, it's safe to say I'm impressed with the results. I absolutely think it's worth the cost. That said, there are issues to overcome. Focus, as you've seen, little hit and miss. Maybe future updates will help with that. And I also think the telephoto extender mode in the camera app needs some more features added. I'd love to see picture styles. I'd love to see manual focus. I'd love to see log recording. and support for wireless mics. I don't see why they're not there. I'm sure they can be added in the future, and hopefully they will be. But even with those issues, I'm so happy with the images I've got from this lens. I'm definitely going to continue to carry it in my bag. It's a lot lighter than even a single lens for my full frame camera. And for me, that makes it all worthwhile. If you like this kind of thing, then get subscribed, because there's always more content on the way. And I will catch you in the next one. Toodles!